Hey, everyone, how are we?
Hello. We have one of our amazing listeners with us today.
We do.
This
We
is
have Mitch.
We have Mitch. And Mitch is a complete beginner.
Yep.
I love that. I love that. And we're going to talk about some elements and how that can cross over into different tarot cards and confuse the fuck out of everyone. So we hopefully will unconfuse some of that. Well, that's the aim.
That's the aim.
But who knows? But here's the thing. If we have listeners out there like Mitch who would love to come on and ask questions and be part of what we do, you know what you got to do, right? Like, share, subscribe, email us.
Ask your questions.
And that'll get you on.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
So what should we start with?
Well, I think we should start with a card like we always do.
Oh, okay, cool.
Do you want to pick a card?
Pick a card. I reckon this would be excellent.
We're going to throw him into the deep end by picking a card straight away.
We are.
So you just shuffle. You haven't played with these ones, have you? You've played with the others. Yes. Mitch has got a couple of decks here. And he's played with the light seers, but he hasn't played with the Rider-Waite. So we're really throwing him in the deep end.
We are really throwing him in the deep end.
We're waiting just to have a card to drop out as usual.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, right? Because some people will choose their card when it drops out, which is perfect, right?
Exactly. See what those flyers are doing, see if they fly out.
I think there's no cards are flying out today.
Well, whatever you do, just pick the right, whatever feels right for you.
Okay, all right.
That sounds like a good sign.
We have today. Mitch has chosen the devil.
He's got the devil. Devil from the Rider-Waite deck.
Devil from the Rider-Waite deck. So.
And if you're listening to this, I have red hair.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
There's a lot of red
here,
and it's passion too, yes. Right? And sometimes a bit of anger. It's also about restriction and where we hold ourselves back. Right. So today, not a day to be holding yourself back. Holding yourself back. We're going to be letting this go. Yeah. What do you first see there? So we're going to do what we call see, feel, know. Right? What do we see on the card? How do we feel about what we're seeing? And what do we know? So I'm going to ask Mitch, what do you see on there? What's the first thing?
Probably it's a man and a woman at the bottom, and with the devil sort of having them chained together towards him.
Excellent. So what do you feel about what you see?
No, what do you feel? Not what you see, what do you feel?
Don't really feel anything, we deal with the devil every day, so
yes,
that's true. Not too sure how you're supposed to feel when you see that sort of card.
I know, right? Who gets confused when they see this card about what you feel? I know. Yeah. Hello, me too, right? Yeah. So Mitch has seen the couple here being chained and sort of pulled towards the devil, right? And he deals with the devil every day, as you said, we all do, right? Yeah. So are there two sides of you dealing with the situation, or is there two sides to a story that you actually feel maybe a little bit, what would you say, like
controlled or manipulated? Controlled,
that's a good thing, manipulated, maybe there's some of that going on. There's a bit of that energy around it there, yeah? Interesting. So it also can speak to, when we look at the message of the day or the podcast, I've got to get used to doing that.
Yeah, I think I know by
now. Excuse me, the podcast, yeah. It might be that some of us feel like we're a little bit limited or restricted in what we know, but actually we know a lot because it's a major card, right?
We know more than what we think we know.
We know more than what we think we know. So yeah, I think this is a really cool card to get.
Yeah, I think so.
A really cool card to get. We're going to put it there because we're going to have more stuff come up for sure. Yeah. For sure. So can I ask you a question, Mitch?
Yep.
What got you into the tarot, mate?
Well, my mother is part of the tarot, so seeing all the cards and sort of seeing her doing the reading, and we did a reading with me and my wife at one time, and my wife was going through a bit of some struggle with work, and the cards show that there was light at the end of the tunnel, there was a job coming up, yeah, and then next thing I know, here's the job coming up. So I thought to myself, well, that's kind of intriguing that it's sort of called that pretty early.
So that sort of sparked a bit of an interest in you.
Yeah,
And sort of,
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like when you've got a situation and then you place cards down in front of you and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's so important. And I think that's like, I know for Tren and myself, that's how we like to show our readers how they can navigate a situation. And I was talking to, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was explaining it like this, where I was like, you can put all the cards out and you find the golden thread, right? Now, if you pull a thread, right, it can make things tighter and tie people up, or it can undo all this shit and create freedom, right? And that's how we like to work with it, is that we create that freedom. And that's exactly what you've just said, Mitch. Yeah, about how the cards can lead you towards something where it's like, oh, there is light here, so I can relax, right? And I think that's really cool and funny. I said we're going to do this card again. Mitch said, and you heard it out of his own mouth, yeah, when my wife had her thing and we had the reading and then there was this job coming and it felt like there was light at the end of the tunnel. So this guy potentially is telling us more about that, basically saying, you know what, there might be a situation where we do feel pulled and held, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it just might come in a way that you don't expect.
Quite unexpected, isn't it?
Quite unexpected, yeah. I'm going to keep that there. I think we're going to have
Yes,
more.
we're going to have a go again.
Interesting.
Now, I wanted to ask Mitch, when the tarot reader gave your wife a message or a reading, did she give you a message or a reading as well?
yeah, she did give me a message, and she was surprised at how much I think it's Major Arcana that came out.
Yeah, so this is a Major Arcana.
Yeah.
So you're saying in your reading you had quite a lot of Major Arcana, did you?
I think I had about 6 out of the 10 cards.
So that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah.
So you had a lot going on at the same time, did you?
Yeah.
As your wife?
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
So that would have been another spark, wouldn't it, for you to go, oh, why have I got all of these and my wife didn't, or something similar? But yeah, that would have been another one to go, well, I want to know more.
Yeah, it was in the readings. We both got a particular card. So she got one card and I got the exact same card in my reading.
Can you remember what it was?
I think it was the Fool or the Lovers. She had a laugh.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah, that is a big thing. I can see why she had a laugh at that. Yeah, because the Fool's about taking a new journey, right? And the Lovers, right, kind of talks about the other side of the relationship, right, and the connection. So as a couple, even though you might have been read, were you read separately?
Yeah, read separately.
Yeah, so being read separately, here's the thing, right? And this is why I love talking to people about it, because you've had a reading and she's got a certain card, and then you've had a reading and you've got the same card. What that says, right, it's what I call a tell, is very much that the relationship or the journey that you're heading on, depends which card it was, whether it's the Fool or the Lovers, you're both on the same page.
Yes.
And that's a really important part of a relationship, right?
That's
very
really
important part. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that you would draw this one, like, because it's a Major Arcana, which is what you had.
Exactly.
And you spoke about the devil yourself, and you can't make this shit up. Seriously, can't make this shit up. So what are some of the cards that fascinate you?
Well, we're going to go to a different deck.
Okay, cool.
To the Light Seers card, and I think everyone can relate to this one, which is the 6 of Cups, but the photo in it is a young man or young boy with a pup, and as the 6 cards go down, it shows the future.
If you hold it up to the camera, we can see.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, on that Light Seers deck, you do see the child with the pup, and then you see the adult version of this, both of them, don't you? Yeah.
So what does that say to you? I mean, you read that perfectly, but what do you say? What does it say to you?
Well, I think it sort of says that there's future with everyone, but I think everyone's gone through it, that they've got a pup and then it's grown up with them. So that's sort of what I see, is it's all about the growing with each other.
That's beautiful.
That is a really beautiful, just going to say, God, I can't top that. Beautiful explanation because, yeah, like as we see here, we do see that pup that has grown and that boy that has grown. And I mean, the pup can represent a million different things, right? A million different things. But the fact that it's grown up, and let's talk about the pup, right? Because the dog speaks to loyalty. So this would tell me very much, here we go, I'm going to put this together now, that in a relationship, Mitch really appreciates loyalty and a togetherness thing. Right, so that's what that is saying. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what I'm getting for that. Because the Six of Cups, I couldn't explain that any better than that on this particular deck. Like it's just beautiful. Like he's meeting his pup, he's nurturing his pup, and then there they are sitting together.
And it's like we said right at the beginning,
totally connected
with the devil. It's like you know more than you know.
You do know,
and like he just explained it so beautiful without knowing anything about the tarot. He's explained that Six of Cups so beautifully.
I think so. So, all you newbies out there, right? Just go with what you get and put it together through your own life experience. So, what do I mean by that? With the devil, we've spoke about how Mitch sees light at the end of the tunnel, how Mitch sees that he spoke about we're dealing with the devil every day. So what we do, for your newbies out there, is when you get a card is just what words come to you, what phrases come to you, and draw from different decks and put them together, just like Mitch has done here, and put them together. What does it tell you? Because as you can see, we now have a better story on how Mitch feels about relationship. Makes sense, right?
Yes,
so that's what I would say. That's one way. Like we could add other cards to it too, you know?
Yeah, we could we could add another tarot deck, we could add an oracle card.
You can.
You don't have to, as we've just shown, you do not have to stick with one deck.
No, definitely
you can mix them up to get more information, more detail. Absolutely.
And how do you feel, Mitch, about putting those two cards together?
I sort of, well, this is, since I'm a Gemini, I'm kind of two people.
Oh my God.
Two people represented.
Right? Come on.
You couldn't have got a better card. Oh, you could have, but you couldn't.
Well, I think what I'm seeing there is kind of the dark side, which is death, because you got the devil, which means the bottom, where you don't want to be, but then also the Lightseers deck with the man and the pup, which I have been that little boy with a little pup, and then we've grown up together. But that's where it ends. It's not, you're not really thinking about the end or the start. You're just seeing the middle part. So
growing.
Yeah. So that's where the devil comes in, because you're knowing that it's there, but it's not showing it.
So you meaning the end will always be there?
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
you don't want to know it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're pushing it away.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the end of the relationship with the pup.
Oh.
Yeah. Can you see how Mitch did that? Right, I'm just going to share that because I got a little bit lost then, and I'm like, oh, hang on, I get it now. So the devil in the background, which is what he said right in the beginning. I just wasn't listening. So the devil in the background, right, is kind of what you don't necessarily want to face, or that dark side, or Mitch sees this in this particular instance as death because it's the loss of the pup, right, which is then the dog, right? But this speaks very much about how much you valued that relationship. Very much about how he valued that. Now, here's the other thing that the cards will do that no one tells you about, right? When that kind of thing happens, and I'm just going to poke Mitch for a minute, so I'm sorry if I upset you, Mitch. That basically today is Mitch's dog saying, hey, I'm here, hi. So yes, we can get mediumship messages from the cards when we start to focus like that. So it took us a bit to get there, but we got there. We got there. So all your newbies out there, take your time, play with your cards like this. What phrases are coming in? What does this mean to me specifically? What else would you say, Trent?
I just think it's beautiful what he had, the messages he's got from it.
So do I.
I really do think it's just lovely. And the journey that he's been going on, but in the same time, knowing in the background that he will probably outlive the pup.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to, and if we're talking about the pup, but it could be the end of a situation, end of a relationship or something that he knows is coming in the background, but I'm not ready to face it.
Which is the dark part of it that Mitch is talking about. And also for seeing this as death, whilst it's not the death card, death doesn't mean death, right?
No,
death is rebirth. But here, seeing the shadow and going, I'm not ready to face yet, and knowing that that's the ending, I really like that interpretation.
So it's amazing if you think you're just at the beginning of your tarot journey, like I've been saying, you know more than you think.
You do know more than you think,
just
people.
Take your time, look at the cards, listen to what you're actually telling yourself, listen to the words, and then just build a message from there.
Shuffle these and see what we get. We're going to use the crow deck. I'm just going to see what we can add to this because I'm really liking that. And we're all squashed up on the screen today. So
there's your flying card.
Almost lost two of them.
All right, what do we get?
Like the Three of Wands.
I'm trying to work that out. I think it is the Three of Wands.
Or you're reading it upside down.
No, it's not upside down.
No, it's three up there.
We will show you when we just have a look.
Actually, he's 100% right.
It is the
Three of Wands. So here, right? Now, how do I know that's a wand? It looks like a wand to me, very much. I'm like, that's a carpet. I haven't used these very much. It's definitely a wand. It's not a sword, right? So the wands are about the action that we take, right? And the three, typically, we see this crow here. Right, this is a crow tarot, and he's looking out at his world, right? And up here we have the star, right, or a star. Now, funny, because stars, think about a star. What do we say? We say wish upon a star. We say, what else do we say? Twinkle, twinkle,
reach for the stars.
Reach for the stars, all that kind of stuff, right? So I like that.
Yeah.
Reach for the stars. So here, the crow is looking out at the rest of his world, and it'll be more around what he wants to do, right? Because the star is there on this particular deck. It's not on all of the Three of Wands. And it's bridging two worlds. Oh my God, I just realized something. So it's bridging two worlds. And we said that this was a message.
Yes.
Right? You can do mediumship stuff here. Yeah. So this is what this is saying. There's a bridging of two worlds. So I'm going to take a guess here and say, and it may not feel like it, and Mitch can let us know in time, but it feels to me like you, my dear friend, can actually bridge two worlds. So potentially there's messages or something that you get that is not of this world, that is out there. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there may be more of that coming for Mitch. Can you guys see how we all put that together? Like, that's just blown me away somewhat. I think that's the order we did it in.
Yes, that's the order. I want to know what Mitch thinks of that Three of Wands. What do you?
What do you think of that, Mitch? Instead of me taking over, there you go. What do you get?
What do you get? Looking at it, and I know you've been asking questions about crows, which will be another episode all about Mitch.
Absolutely, another episode.
But what do you get from that card?
Well, this could mean well, it's all depending on which world we're looking at, because we're looking at the other side of the world, that the ones that have left us.
Yeah.
And they are looking at the star, which is us, or vice versa. Or are we in this world looking at the stars, seeing them?
It could be both, like you
said.
Could
be both.
Yeah.
Could be both. I have loved today's episode.
It's been so
and
good.
I've loved that message. We're going to have Mitch back again. So yes, let us know if you guys want to join and be part of what, like what Mitch has done. It's fantastic. I've loved it. I want to do this again.
If it's up with, okay with
Yes.
you, will you get
Excellent,
back?
excellent. So we're gonna do this
We just
again.
thought, yeah, we get a complete beginner on and just show
See what comes up.
what comes up, and like we said, you know more than you know.
You do know more than you know, and look at that,
And we've used 3 decks here.
3 different decks,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the message we got has all tied in.
it has all tied in. So beautiful people,
Yep.
that's all we got time for today. Speaking of time, have
Anyway,
an amazing afternoon, day, night, morning,
And whenever
wherever you
you're-
are, and we'll catch you
we'll-
next time.
We'll see you next time.
Big
Thanks,
love.
Mitch.
Well,
Thanks,
you.
Mitch.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.